Hello everyone, Percy number 6 here. I'm excited to do a tier list on the music of Thomas and Friends from the classic seasons. That's season 3 to season 7. I don't know about you, but like as a kid, I had the VHSs and DVDs for Thomas, and honestly, some of my favorite, like I think if I gave you like a tier list of my favorite VHSs, which maybe I gotta do that in the future, but if I did that, it wouldn't surprise me if I had both Sing-Along and Stories, and Trackside Tunes is S tier. Like, especially Sing-Along and Stories, I really enjoyed both of those as a kid. I watched them so much. Helped that it had those narrow gauge episodes, like 3 of the 4 episodes in those two were narrow gauge episodes, and I love season 4 in the narrow gauge railway. Wow, what a great combination. But we're going to talk about the songs in particular, go over all of them. I like to sing too. I'll probably sing a little bit of each song as I talk about them too. So alphabetical order, we'll start with none other than Accidents Will Happen. Accidents happen now and again. You know, it's very upbeat, and I like that. Like a song about this where we're talking about accidents happening on the railway. You know, just getting that accident mindset. It's also pretty cool, you know, like it's kind of like a best of accidents up to that point in the series. There's so many that are done, and they did a really good job, you know, showing all of those, and I enjoyed the song. Like, it was a good song. I put it in B tier. Like, this will probably be the top song in B tier for me. Like, I really like it. It's a very strong B tier, but B tier nonetheless. Next up, Boo Boo Choo-Choo. Don't be afraid of the dark. Boo, boo, boo. You know, it just flows together really well. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid, don't be afraid of the dark. Like, it feels very much like a season 7 song to me. Like, you know, they've done several of these songs at this point. It's a pretty good Christmas song. Honestly, I don't think it's the best definitely not Christmas, Halloween song. I don't think it's the best Halloween song they do, but I really enjoy it. Like, this is also B tier for me. Definitely not as good as Accidents Will Happen, but still really good. So come for the ride. All your friends on the railway would like you all to see da 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 do 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 and catch it. Come rockin', rockin' on the railway, moving. You know, like, here's the thing. It feels very much like an Accidents Will Happen. Like, it also goes over, which is kind of cool, it goes over, because this was in Trackside Tunes, they go over Gordon the Gremlin, which is featured in that. Kind of weird that they do this before Gordon the Gremlin. I always thought that was weird watching it. Like, it would have made more sense to do this as like the song after Gordon and the Gremlin, but beside the point, I guess. And, you know, there's a few songs on here that are basically based off of an episode. This was a weaker episode to base a song off of. And in a lot of ways, it kind of, like, I feel like Accidents Will Happen is just a better version of what essentially the song's going for. It's a C tier for me. I think maybe if I did these, like, if this was available for me when I was a kid and I was watching this, it probably would have been higher than C tier. But, like, right now, I just feel like Accidents Will Happen is a better version of the song. I found a quacker in my tender, da 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 da. You know, talking about my kid mindset, I definitely, at the end of the day, like, here's the thing, right? This is a tier list. Pretty much every song on here I like. You know, it's just I like some more than others. And like Donald's Duck, I think as a kid I would have felt that way. But like this was probably one of the last songs on it. But I think I've grown to like the song a little bit more. Like, to me, this is a B tier, just under Boo Boo Choo-Choo for me. But it's still good. She makes me so happy. Like, I love that line. I think it was a cool episode to kind of base a song off of. I think they did a really good job with that. And, you know, some of these songs I think really fit for what the theme of the episode is. And Donald's Duck is definitely one of them. Like, fantastic job here. Don't judge a book by its cover. You make your mind up too soon. The funny thing with this song is, out of all the songs on this list, I find myself just like at work or just in my everyday life when I'm not at home, like not listening to a Thomas song, like this is the Thomas song that pops into my head the most. I don't know why, like it's a good song, but it just pops in. You know, maybe like Thomas and the Special Letter, which this one was on the VHS DVD for, That was probably my favorite as a kid. Like either that or Sing Along and Stories I listened to probably more than any other VHS I had as a kid. So I think that's part of it. Like it holds that place in my heart. I think it's a really good song. I think they picked a really good episode for it to be based off of. This definitely feels like it should have came out a few seasons earlier though, because like season 4, it's like, well, this episode came out a while ago and we're finally doing it, but not. It's just a weird timing for the song. Definitely an A tier song for me. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Down by the docks, that's the place to be. Down by the dockside, we are a team. You know, what I really like about this is, for one, there's a lot of movement to the song, a lot going on, and that's the docks, right? Because there's so much coming and leaving the docks any given day. I think this is a great way to kind of introduce characters, because, you know, up until season 5, the docks were a part of the show, but they became like a really big part of the show once like Frankie got introduced, when Salty got introduced to the docks, and they both became focal points of the docks and in some ways the show as well. So I think it was a great timing to introduce this song after both of them were there. We get a little bit more of an introduction to Cranky and Salty. Like, I really enjoyed this song. This is also an A tier song for me. Really like it. Every cloud has a silver lining. A nice Bill and Ben song. Bill and Ben, the twins work. Da 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 da. A little bit of a slower song. And like, here's the thing. It's a C tier for me. It's a little bit better than Come for the Ride. But it's just C tier for me. There's some slower songs on here. I definitely like slower songs. Like I personally really like, outside of Thomas, I really like 70s music, and I notice with my 70s music, I really like the slower songs. So it's not me whatsoever. It's not me hating on 70s, hating on slower songs. It's just like, this is a slower song, and I feel like there are some other slower songs on this list that do a lot better of a job for me than what Every Cloud does. It's a good song, but it's here in C tier. 5 new engines in the shed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you believe your eyes? You know, watching the New Friends for Thomas VHS DVD as a kid, like, this was a great song to kind of finish it up on. I thought even watching it was kind of like, why do you have Salty and Harvey in here? Like, I get it, like 4 new engines in the shed. Probably doesn't sound as good as 5. But I mean, you could have just had Murdoch, Emily, Spencer, and Arthur. But, that's beside the point. I like this, especially at that point. We really started seeing a lot of new characters. It's nice to get a song featuring all these new characters in it. And I mean, really, you look at the 5 new engines, most of them became a big part of the series. Like, Salty's constantly at the docks. Emily becomes a part of the Steam team. Spencer he's not Steam team, but he's got to be up there for character appearances. Murdoch doesn't really appear much after the season, and Harvey really is only there for accidents, and kind of gets replaced in a lot of ways with Rocky. So he appears more than Murdoch, that's for sure. But regardless, like, these are like characters that for the most part we see a lot of going forward, and this is a good way to kind of give us a taste of what those characters are. For me, this is also an A tier. I am gonna put it... where do I put this? Like, no, it's good. I gotta put it B tier. I'm gonna put it behind Accidents Will Happen. Like, I think it's a pretty good song. Just misses out on A tier for me. Like, if you want to tell me it's an A tier song, like, I'm not gonna debate you. Like, I think it is a very good song. But going from that to Gone Fishing, a good episode to base a song off of, but such a boring song. Like, it is a very slow song, too slow to me. Like, do what you really want to do. Da 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 da. Like, it's just such a boring song. I'm not a fan. Like, at the end of the day, I like it, but it's D tier for a reason for me. I don't listen to this song much at all for a reason. Oh yes, it's great to be an engine and go steaming along. Like, this is another one. Let's start with this. It's C tier. I think these songs in C tier in particular for me, I like them. It's just like, I look at the songs that I have in A, B, and eventually S tier. We're getting into some S's. But like, those 3 tiers, I think, have songs that are similar to these C tier songs, but they just do a lot better for it. And that's kind of how I feel about It's Great to Be an Engine. Like, I mean, I know it's kind of a different thing, but Down by the Docks, like, I think that's about as upbeat as it is Great to Be an Engine, but I just, it touches me a lot more than what Great to Be an Engine it does. It's not a bad song whatsoever, just not my song. Like, I love that intro, you know, it, gets the song going. You're seeing these little pictures of James, kind of really showing off what a boastful, or in this case, splendid engine he is. Take a look who's coming down the track, make way for James, hooray for James. Hooray for James. Like, what I really like about this one, like, I remember watching Salty Secret for the first time as a kid, and I remember one summer before school, I was just constantly playing this. Like, the week before, I would just, like, constantly rewind it and listen to the song over and over again. Like, I think when I first heard that song, like, it automatically became one of my favorite songs of the show. Easy S tier for me. Absolutely love that song. One of the best songs in the show, easily. Let's have a race, have a race, have a race, and see who is the quickest. Like, smart to pick an episode with Thomas and Birdie racing. I think they do a good job with this. I think it's the best song in C tier, but it's C tier for me. Birdie, but da 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 da. Like, it kind of tells more of a story than really any of these songs do, which I think is cool. We don't see that enough. Like, if you said B tier to me, like, I'm not gonna argue. Like, it is a good song. That's why it's probably gonna end up being the top song in C tier for me. Little engines, da da da, little engines. Da 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 da. You can rely on them. These, like, I like the idea of little engines, especially when a lot of ways the show we see the bigger engines kind of bully the little engines. I like that they get a song kind of showing, hey, they're strong, they're good too. But not a big fan of the song. Like, this is D tier for me, a little bit better than Gone Fishing, but just not that good of a song. Definitely one I don't listen to a lot. Never, never, never give up. Da 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 da. This is one of 3 songs on here that are technically classic series, but they never released them on any of the VHSs or DVDs. I'm just not. I think that's part of it. Like, maybe like if I listened to these on a VHS or DVD when I was a kid, I probably would think more highly of them, but I really don't. Like, Never, Never, Never Give Up, I think, goes right here. It goes D tier. I think in large part because I never listened to it as a kid. I'm definitely not listening to it now, so goes right there in D tier. Night Train, I'd say when I was a kid, this was my second favorite Thomas song. I really like Night Train. See how the night lights glow. Do 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 do. Like, it's a perfect mix. Like, everything's kind of darker in this because it's all shot at night, in night scenes. They take the time with this episode, or with this song, excuse me, not episode. What I really like is just how they do, because it's a good mix. So, like, it should feel kind of slower because, it's night, not as much movement going on, but it's still going enough. Like, hey, the island's still running, the railway's still going. I really like that. Even though it was, like I said, if I was a kid, when I was a kid doing this would easy S tier for me. It's actually B tier, and I put it behind the 2 songs in B tier right now, and there's probably a few more songs that are going to go in front of it. Like, I like Night Train. I really do. It's a great song. Like, I don't think I listen to it enough nowadays. It's still an A tier to me, but it's not S tier like it used to be when I was a kid. Percy's Seaside Trip. Percy number 6, I don't think I really, like, I definitely liked the song as a kid, but I don't think I really started to enjoy it like I did until the last few years. Like, let's start out with this S tier, just behind James. But Seaside, we're off to the seaside, buildings and castles with buckets and spades. Like, I love how they do this song. Thank you, Percy, for such a lovely day. And, just like with the James one, we see a lot of pictures throughout this. I think that's really cool. We don't see that nearly enough in some of these songs. And what are the odds? Two of the picture ones are S tier for me. This is such a good song. Easy S tier for me. He's a really useful engine, you know. You know, one of the cool things with this is, you know, there were some of these songs they took and made CGI versions for, but like Ventures Begins, they used this. This was in Magic Girl 2, so this song's been places. Like, it's a good B tier for me. Definitely a B tier. I put it like right in the middle of B tier. You know, in a lot of ways, I think this and Thomas's Anthem, like these are the songs when you think of Thomas, like these are two of the songs that come to mind, at least for me. Good songs, not great songs, but good songs I do enjoy listening to. Rules and Regulations, here's another one, you know, that wasn't out for me as a kid and goes D tier. Like, there's not much for me to say about it. I think if I listened to it more as a kid, I'd probably have a stronger opinion of it, but I mean, I don't listen to it much at all, so it's a nice D tier for me. Salty, I love this song. Salty, sing us another one, Salty. Oh, Salty. And what I really like is, like, this is a Salty-centric song. Like I talked about already in this video, he becomes a main part of this show. Definitely deserving of a song. Like, I like this. It actually goes bottom of B tier for me, at least right now. It feels disrespectful to put it that low. Like, it kind of does, honestly. Like, I want to put it a little higher, but man, it's hard. I think B tier is a good spot for it. If we want to argue moving it up a little bit on B tier, sure. But, good song. Really good song for a great character. Sir Topham Hatt. He's the head of the railway. Da, 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 da. Like, this is a very good, fitting song for Sir Topham Hatt. Kind of like laying down the law in a lot of cases, or a lot of ways with this song. Also goes B tier. We're going to keep Salty above it, though. But it goes B tier for me. Definitely enjoy the song. You know, when I think of Trackside Tunes, this is definitely a song that comes to my mind. That's what Friends are for. It's funny, like, if you look at this, it's the only one with CGI engines for it, and that's because we didn't hear the song really till CGI. But unfortunately, like the Never 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 Give Up and Rules and Regulations, didn't listen to it much as a kid. It goes there. Island Song. Okay, so here's the thing with Island Song. As a kid, easy. Not just S tier, like number one song. It was this, and then it was Night Train. It's not that way for me anymore. And I think there's a lot of reasons why. It's actually not even A tier for me, it's B tier. Now here's the thing, right? I think part of it is it really gets overplayed. It really does. Like, in this community, love it, but we see it all the time. We see the song come up. I think that's part of it. Like, I think, honestly, of all these songs, through the community, I probably hear Island Song more than any of the other ones, and there's pros and cons to that, and the con is, well, now it's B tier for me. I think it just gets overplayed a little bit too much, and for me, that's just hurt it a little bit. Still a really good song, like at the end of the day, like, I like Island, you know, picture a land where the sky is so blue, a storybook land of wonder. Like, you know, I talked about in the C tier list about how, you know, some of these slower songs, S through B tier, do a better job with it. I think Island Song's a great example of it. Like, if I want a slow Thomas song, like, this is the song. I mean, look at the songs that are above Island Song. Like, Night Train's really the only one that's kind of slow. And it's not slow like Island Song is. It's a very, very good song. But it's like towards the top of B tier, not S tier for me anymore. But what is S tier? Not just S tier, but the best song? Red Balloon. You know, this could be one, I'll be honest, like, lately I've been listening to this one a lot more, so that definitely plays part of it. I think it would have been S tier regardless, but maybe not number one if I did this like 6 months ago. But I love, you know, what I really like with this is like the way up high, like that part of the song in particular, because it's a red balloon, you know, up in the air, everybody's looking at it just like in the episode, and that's what I think they did a really good job with here. Like, they really portray, like I've talked about with some of these songs, like, they do a good job kind of representing, like, down by the docks, where it's just a lot of movement, and that's what happens at the docks. There's a ton of movement at the docks. That's kind of what's going on here with the Red Balloon, but I think better than they do in Down by the Docks or any of these songs, where it's like I said, the way up high part, like, it just, the way they build from way to up, the way up high, it's like showing in sound, it's like showing this balloon's high up in the air. And then I also love how they just put this balloon in like random shots. Like, you see it in Game Stops Play, or Train Stops Play, not Game. Train Stops Play, which is like, came out way before this episode came out and song. But I love that they're just like throwing this in like that. Like, fantastic work here. I can't talk enough how great of a song this is. Like, they do such a good job portraying what a red balloon is in song. And it's crazy to me that two of my top, not just two of my top 3 S tier songs, but 2 of the 3 S tier songs, my 1 and 2, are both about James, whether directly or indirectly. So great work, James. Snow song, like, let me talk about this. I do like the the Halloween songs they did, but they really blew it out of the water with the snow song and Winter Wonderland, which we'll get to in a little bit. Like, I saw they had, at least for me, there were 2 VHSs and DVDs that I watched of winter episodes as a kid. This one was on the first one, and I'm like, wow, this is good. And then they did Winter Wonderland later on. I'm like, that's also so good. Like, they just did a great job. Snow, 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 snow. And, the way the gap between the snow, it almost feels like you're watching from the window, watching the snow carefully fall down. Like, I think that's what they're trying to portray here. I love this song, like, especially come Christmas time. Great time to play this song. Well, once that first snow drops, especially, it's like, well, let's tune up the snow song and as we watch the snowfall. Easy A tier for me. Easy A tier. The whistle song. And da 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 da. Toby, ring your bell. Do 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 do. It's, I don't want to say boring. I feel like that's a little insulting to call it boring. It's not exciting. Like I said, this is the perfect C tier song. In the fact, like I said, with most of these C tier songs, there's just S, A, and B tier have songs that are similar to this that I think just do a better job. It's a good song, but not a great song. There once was an engine who ran away. Da, 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 da. Ran away, stomped through the tunnel. Da, 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 doo, doo. Well, goodbye. Ooh, I like this song. I like Vergus. For a character that really only appeared for a few episodes and we never really saw again, it's cool that he kind of got a song of his own. I thoroughly enjoyed the song. I was talking with some of my friends about this. We did a list before, and I was like the only one that really liked this song, that held this song in a high standard. To me, A tier, middle of A tier. There we go. Like, I just, great song at the end of the day. Like, Thomas finally tracked him down. Like, great job. Talking about Thomas, it's Thomas the Tank Engine. Hip, 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 hooray! I feel like I mentioned earlier when I was talking about Really Useful Engine, like, these are the 2 songs in a lot of ways when you think of Thomas music that come to your mind. And I think I gotta put them in about similar spot. We'll put this actually over Really Useful Engine. I think in a lot of ways too, like, we saw this version of the song. Really Useful Engine got multiple versions, so I think that's probably why I like it slightly more. Both great songs for Thomas and for the series as a whole. I'd say more so like with Thomas than like you look like Donald Duck, Salty, James, Percy, like all these engines that get their own songs. It really feels like their own song, while the Thomas songs, it feels like not just a Thomas song, but like a Thomas and Friends song, where it's good representation, not just for Thomas, but for the rest of the railway. That's what I like, what they do here. Definitely a good B tier song. So Toby, I liked this song as a kid, but I like it a lot more now. We are going to put Toby in A tier, bottom of A tier, but A tier nonetheless. for like I'd say a year ago, I was listening to this song like nonstop. It felt like I really liked listening to it. It probably moved it up from a B tier because of that. Like north of the island, there lives a dear old train, a little trim engine. Toby is his name. He's great and old-fashioned. Like that's the opening. It really introduce you to Toby. You know, it kind of ties in with that first episode where, you know, he meets her Topham Hatt and his railway closes down forever. Toby. Like that refrain in particular. What will become of you? Like it's a good song talking about Toby. And, you know, great tie-in with his episode, and it ends in a happy note, which we love to see. Yeah, great, definitely an A-tier song, definitely deserving of it. And the troublesome trucks will get the engines every time. Troublesome trucks are da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Push them here. What I really like that troublesome truck, this part, what I really like with it, it feels like, oh my gosh, like you're holding on to your life, holding on to that chair, making sure you don't fall out. Like it feels like these trucks are just speeding down the line. This is definitely one of the better songs they do with that. I'm gonna put it in A tier as well, just above Snow Song. I really appreciate this song. Like I said, you know, they've done a really good job with it feeling like the trucks like are just moving like crazy. I really like the work they did with this song. So definite A tier to me. And to finish out, we have Winter Wonderland. I talked about this one a little bit ago with Snow Song. This is the story of Thomas's Winter Wonderland. It's a winter wonderland. I didn't want to get into it too much when I was talking about Snow Song because I didn't want to spoil anything, but I do like the song more than Snow Song. It's not quite A tier, or I mean S tier. It is A tier for me. It is a top 5 Thomas song to me. I can't say enough good things about this song. I feel like they were like, man, we did a really good job with Snow Song. How are we ever going to top it? And then they wrote this and they topped it. You know, these are 2 great songs about the wintertime, and somehow they top Snow Song. Like, I can't give them enough credit for that. Like, such a fantastic song for me. So let's talk about all these songs as a whole. Like, at the end of the day, like, the last 3... I never really listened to. Like I could sing these songs in my sleep. The last 3 I could not. I'm not gonna lie, I could not sing those 3. And honestly, everything C tier up, like I really enjoy. I would listen to those all the time. D tier, I really don't listen to them at all. You know, and it's hard for me. Like I do appreciate too, because I think it's hard to make songs that, I mean, like, you know, I'm an adult now and I can still like and listen and appreciate these songs, and I think that's, I don't want to necessarily say hard to do, but you don't see that oftentimes in children's media. So I give Thomas, especially at this time, a lot of credit. Even like the CGI songs, the pieces I've heard of CGI songs, like they do a pretty good job with those too. I thoroughly enjoy these songs. Like I said, C tier up especially, I really enjoy. But these are mine. Like at the end of the day, this is just my ranking. These are my opinions. I think the best part about this is like I could do this like yearly, and I feel like some things wouldn't change much. Other things would change. And maybe next summer I'll be thinking about this and try doing this again. But we'll see. This is my tier list. I'd love to hear yours. Or, you know, there's a lot of songs on here. If you don't want to write down each and every song, I get that. Maybe just tell me your favorite 2, 3. Give me your S tier or something like that. Or tell me which songs you really don't like. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say, so feel free to tell me in the comment section below. Also, this is the first time I've done a tier list. Like I did a couple years ago, I did my top 10 favorite episodes from season 4. I feel like this is probably a format people appreciate more, especially the top 10. You know, there's 26 episodes this season. I left out about half including my honorable mentions, I still left out about half the episodes from that season. So maybe this is a better format with this type of thing, so I can kind of talk about every episode or every song, whatever it may be. So if you guys enjoy this, I'll probably do some more of these in the future, maybe going over the seasons. So I just want to throw that out there. But at the end of the day, like I said, this is my tier list, but I'd love to hear yours. So please let me know yours in the comment section below. Like I think that's the best part about making a tier list like this, because you guys get to hear what I think, but I also love to see what you guys have to think, because we all have different music tastes. I've really enjoyed doing tier lists with my friends, and that's kind of where I got the idea for something like this. So yeah, all that said, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you all for watching. This is Percy number 6, and have a great day.